As runners, we all challenge ourselves in ways we never thought possible, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of to smash through targets and set ourselves new, bigger and better ones.
This awesome hobby that we share gives us one thing in common, and it brings us together as a community. Whether you're working towards completing your first parkrun or you're a veteran of the sport who's run 100 ultra marathons, we all know the feeling of reaching that maxed out effort and our own red line.
Welcome to our podcast, where your hosts Brett Elesmore and Andy Maguire discuss the struggles, the successes and everything in between on our running journeys, as we all work towards the next time we're running the red line. Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Running the Red Line. I am your host, Brett, and I am here, as always, with Mr. Marathon himself, Andy. How you doing this week, mate?
I'm all right. I tell you what I am not, and that is hungry. Because this week, like last week was carb loading, this week has just been recovery, and that has masqueraded into just raiding the cupboards. And I've eaten more this week than I did on carb load week. Here's the evidence. Literally lunch today. 2 pizzas, two empty plates. I'm an absolute pathetic excuse of a man at the moment. I'm just eating all the time.
Amazing.
And it's great.
Amazing. Brilliant. What type of pizzas were they?
Well, we call them in our house, we call them lockdown pizzas because when in 2020, when we were like not going to the supermarket for obvious reasons and stuff, we were just rationing things, and we kept making what we called lockdown pizzas out of a tortilla wrap, some tomato paste, some great grated mozzarella and some herbs and some pesto and stuff. So yeah, they've just become a thing in our house, and they're just they're so quick and easy to make. So
they're good. Have you done the double layer one as well?
No, I haven't done this. What's that, like a stuffed crust? Like a...
Sort of. So you do a tortilla and the sauce and the cheese, but then put another tortilla on the top and then sauce and cheese and your toppings on top. So you've got like a gooey bit in the middle as well.
Ooh, okay. That could be dinner sorted. Sounds intriguing. Yeah. But no, this week it's just mainly been eating. I have actually drunk. I think I've broken a world record for water this week. I've been drinking so much. And I have been mindful to try and recover because I don't really want to undo the good work that I've done since Christmas.
Yeah.
And just, so I do want to try and... I haven't done any running this week, but on the same hand, I just want to try and recover properly. Yes, I've been eating maybe some silly food, but I've been drinking a lot. And I've been taking it easy, basically, but I don't want to try and, I haven't gone off the rails. I haven't been drinking every day and all that sort of stuff. So
you've been out walking though, haven't you? Getting that active recovery in and stuff.
Yeah, Daisy still needs 2 walks a day, so still out with just with the gentle walks and stuff. But apart from that, no, I haven't done anything above a nice easy walk, and it's been weird. Because I can't remember that it's Friday at the time recording this. And I can't remember the last time I did 5 days of no running. Like I can't genuinely remember the last time I had 5 days off. Because touch wood, I seem to do okay with injuries. And I don't ever really need, apart from marathon recovery, to have 5 days off. And so it's been weird.
Yeah. Well, I had 7 days off running after my marathon in Manchester, but you're only going to have 6 this week because obviously 5.
I think I'm going to do Parkrun tomorrow as a little shaky.
Okay, all right then. I was going to say because Sunday we've got something coming up, but Parkrun. Where are you going to Parkrun tomorrow?
Well, it's going to be random because I've got, with my job, with my work, I get given, say an email comes in and says, can you contact such and such a household we need to get these photos done of this house to go on the market. And this house that they got given is not on my patch. It's in Ross-on-Wye, which is like 50, well, it's not 50 miles. It's about 25, 30 mile away. So it's straight down the M50. I should have done it on my way back from Newport, really, because that would have been the best time to do it. But the weather has been awful this week, and my job is very weather dependent. So I can't, for example, I'm not going all the way down to Ross-on-Wye, and the estate agents have instructed me to fly the drone and on all this sort of stuff, and they've got nice, lovely views and stuff. I'm not going to go all the way down there to say, well, I'll just do your insides today and I'll come back another time to do your outsides, because that's a massive waste of my time and money. So I need to wait for a good day. And the only good day is tomorrow. The forecast tomorrow looks quite good. And I just thought, instead of booking it in for 10 o'clock, I'll book it in for 10:30. And I'm gonna go down to Ross-on-Wye Parkrun tomorrow, because I've done it once before, probably 18 months ago. And I'm gonna get that done, and then I go to work and then drive home.
Excellent. So is it going to be a park jog rather than park run?
Oh yeah. Because I mean, it's a slow course anyway, because it might be a little bit muddy actually. So yes, it will be a very tentative kind of chilled one, and yeah, it'll be like half an hour, if that. Getting round, I just really enjoy that particular park run, because it's right on the river.
Yeah.
Ross-on-Wye is quite a nice little place, and my house is only up the road. So I just thought, well, if I'm in that neck of the woods, I might as well do it. And it's kind of cool to integrate work. If you're going to work on a Saturday, you might as well have a good day. You might as well try and make the day as good as you can. So I thought, I'll do it. I'll do a park run. Yeah. So that's the plan. Nice and easy.
Good. Well, if it is muddy tomorrow, make sure you don't take the car too far into the mud, because we know what happens when you do that.
I'll get the bus. I'll get the train.
But yeah, so Sunday is going to be an interesting day for both of us. Obviously, you're going to be taking it nice and easy, but it is Birmingham Half. It is the Great Run Birmingham Half Marathon.
I'm in the second. I'm in the second wave. No, the first wave after the first ones. I'm in the orange.
Oh right.
And
excellent.
So I'm a little bit worried that I might get swept away by the super shoes. But I'm looking forward to Brum Half, because it is a good race.
Yeah. Well, one way to stop yourself going off too quick is not wearing super shoes. Wear your daily trainers, and it'll hold you back a bit.
Yeah. You just can't see that happening. When you're just not going to do that.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
I've paid 45 quid for this. I'm not going to take it easy. But I am, but I'm not. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for like because my PB is 136. Last week at Newport, I was running circa 145 halves. So I might try and run maybe a 150, something like that.
Yeah.
So a little bit slower than marathon pace. So that's probably what I'll do.
Yeah. And earn the 5 guys afterwards.
Yeah, that's the whole reason we're doing it.
Exactly. I'm just going to grab my number. Which I had on the shelf. Oh, and I've got one of them.
Yes.
For Sunday. So I've got a stripy number, which means I am in the fast-paced runners wave.
How ace is that?
Which is interesting. So yeah, I'll be right up the front for the start of the half.
Are you gonna not make the same mistake as last year? Because you do remember that the 10Kers are in with you as well.
Yes, yeah, I know that now. So I won't make the same mistake and get 5K in and realise that when they're turning back to go back into the city centre that they weren't actually in the same race. Yeah,
and you're on 10K PB pace.
Yeah.
And you've got another 10K to go.
Yeah, so I'm because I know that now. I'll go out at my actual pace, but it should be really good because we've got quite a few of the B&R club guys running, and
awesome.
Several of us are all going for the same sort of pace. So hopefully we'll have a real nice pack that we can all work together and take on some of the front running and the effort for each other to make our way round. But I am going to go out at PB pace and just see what happens and see if I can hold on. I would love to break that 120 barrier, that 80 minutes. So I'm going to go out at 6 minute a mile pace and just hold on for as long as I can. But I think sub 120 is 6:04 a mile. So
wow. Okay. So I mean, that's for context. That's dramatically faster than your marathon pace, isn't it? Which was 6:40, wasn't it?
yeah, 6:40. Yeah.
So that will feel. Yeah, you'll feel like, okay, this is not going to be an easy day at the office. This is going to be quite tough. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, looking ahead to the weather, it looks like it's going to be quite favourable. Not too hot and muggy, sort of mid teens max. Maybe a bit drizzly and low wind as well. So
yeah. So fingers crossed. Yeah, it should be decent. Should be good for running. I mean, when I looked at the weather, it said 14 degrees by the time we start, which is probably a little bit warm, but it shouldn't be too bad. It's not up in the high teens or anything like that. So yeah, it should be okay.
You're going to be in your marathon race day gear.
Well, this is the thing, but I was going to wear one of my new singlets I bought at the running show. But
I remember that.
Talking to all the other B&R guys, they're all going to wear their club vest. I feel like I should wear my club vest now.
You feel like the only one who won't be.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I'll make a decision on the weekend.
How does that feel compared to, a singlet that you'll spend 50 quid on or 30, 40, 50 quid on? Does the material feel different, the club vest?
Yeah, see, this is the thing. The club vests that we've got, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of clubs now, some of the younger runners are getting sore club vests made and things like that because the general club vests, they're not the best of vests. They're quite thick. They're not the best form fitting things you've ever had on. They're not bad. They're all right. I mean, I've raced plenty of races in them and not really found them that much of a problem. But compared to a very nice vest, they're not great.
If a sore singlet was, in the beer world, like a beautiful Belgian beer, then a club vest would be like a pint of Carling.
A
pint of White Lightning. Yeah.
Not quite White Lightning. No, not quite like White Lightning.
Yeah, not as good as that.
No, but I have seen though those sore vests because they're custom. I think there's something like 100 quid each for those sore club vests.
Wow. I mean, what are they made of? Are they made of PBs?
They need to be, don't they, for that price? But see, that's the difference. So we could get a sore club vest done, which is 100 quid, or I think our club vests, I think there was 16 quid.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a difference, isn't it?
And I suppose you have to wear them at cross country, don't you?
So certain races you have to wear your club vest.
Yeah. And I guess a cross country, 10, 12K, you'll be done within 30, 40 minutes, won't you? So it's not that long to wear it during a race environment. No. But like a marathon or a half marathon, you could get chafing or you could get, could be a little bit uncomfortable. So I feel your pain.
If you, like for the London Marathon, if you get a place in the championship start, so the lads who ran sub 240, who started on the championship start, you have to wear your club vest to be able to start on the championship. So they were wearing them for London.
Yeah.
So Birmingham half this weekend should be really good. I'm looking forward to it. So I've been back in training for the last couple of weeks. So last week I did that 4x1600 session on the Tuesday, and then this week I went down on Tuesday and it was a track session again, and it was 400s. So we did 14 by 400 meters off 60 seconds, and Andy, like our coach said, try and do the 60 seconds as 100 meters, and then start at the next 100-meter line for your next 400. So you're just constantly moving, but that 1 minute in between, because you're only doing 100 meters, it's quite a very slow jog to the next start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how it went. It was nice to know that I've still got a bit of speed in the legs. So I think I averaged about 76 seconds per 400. So quite pleased with that. I did a 79, 75, 79, 78, 77, 76, 76, 76, 75, 77, 77, 77, 77, 77, and a 73 to finish off.
So, what shoes were you wearing for the session?
Takumi's. Yeah, Takumi's ends. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. And so a 73 apparently is 4:58 mile pace.
Wow, that's ridiculous pace.
So pleased with that for the last one for the 14th.
So how's your recovery feeling then? Because obviously that tells us that you're obviously decent looking, over shorter stuff and shorter, faster stuff. How are you feeling? Have you done anything longer than track stuff, or have you done any long runs since you've done the marathon?
Haven't really done any long runs because Sunday long run was split up into 3 sections for reasons we will go into later. And on Thursday, last night we did, because some of us are doing Birmingham Half, we did a nice steady run out. So we did, I ended up doing about 7 mile in total, just a nice steady pace. So conversational, chatting all the way around. So that was pretty good. Nice. But I'm feeling good. Legs still aren't 100% yet, but cardio wise, I'm feeling okay. So we'll see. I'll just go out and Are
you doing a mini taper or anything, or are you just treating it like it's a normal Sunday long run? Or it's not, is it?
So last week I went back up to 60 mile, and then for the next few days, so today's a rest day, and then Saturday I'm just going to do Parkrun. Well, I'm going to jog down to Parkrun, do Parkrun nice and steady, and then that'll be it. So it is like a mini taper, basically. Back up to a decent mileage last week, and then this week will be a mini taper to the weekend.
So what's a steady parkrun for you these days? About 19 or something?
No, I was chatting with Pete from the club about that, and I was saying the last time we did a steady one, it was about 20 minutes, and he went, "Oh, I'll be going a lot slower than that because I want to be fresh for Sunday." So go out, we'll probably be running, I don't know, probably 8-minute miles. So what's that? 20? What's that? 25, 26?
You're going to do a 25, 26-minute parkrun?
Maybe.
I don't think I've ever seen you do that in my life. In fact, I'll
get carried away, but
I was going to say, aren't I the reason that you've got a personal worst? Because didn't you run with me once when we did Worcester, the Woods one? And you were like, I've only ever done, like, my lowest I've ever done is about 21. And I think we got round in about 26. I was like, "Oh, sorry, mate. You shouldn't run with me anymore."
No, it's I don't really mind. I went through that stage years ago where I would only go down to Parkrun if I knew I was going to run well. But I don't care anymore. It's Parkrun. You go for fun, don't you, more than anything?
Yeah.
Go and see the people and chat. So Parkrun Saturday, and then race it on Sunday and see what we can do.
Cool. Yeah.
But right. So other things before we move on to the main event of the podcast. Ever so quickly, this Sunday as well is Copenhagen Marathon.
Yeah.
So looking forward to seeing the results from that and everything. I just want to give a shout out to Yarrow. who is one of the lads from the club who is out there running it. He's
Yarrow doing it. Oh, fair play.
Yeah, he is using it as a bit of a training run because he's doing Amsterdam later in the year.
Awesome.
And he's had to have quite a bit of time off from injury, so he's only just getting back into the swing of things. So he's going out there just to have fun and have a bit of a jog around at Copenhagen. So best of luck, Yarrow. Hope it goes well.
Good luck, mate.
I don't know if there's anyone else running Copenhagen. I'm sure there is some people we know, but
I know we don't know him. Well, I don't. Ben is running. He's doing it, isn't he?
Yeah, Ben Felton's running it as well. Yeah.
Didn't you meet him at the Essex 10K years ago?
Yes, a couple of years ago. Yeah, down in London. Yeah. Good lad. He's a nice guy. He's running it as well. I think he's going for around. I think he said he was going to try and hit between 122 and 124. So that'll be interesting to see where he comes in.
What?
222 and 224. I'm in half mode in my head up here because of Sunday. Yeah.
So that's a fast marathon.
Oh, no. 222 and 224, I think is what he's going for. So yeah, somewhere in between there. And then the other thing we possibly just need to touch on is the London Marathon ballot.
God.
You didn't even bother entering, did you?
No, because I am photographing a wedding up in Wolverhampton in a place called Tettenhall next year. And I just know that it will not be a pleasant experience if I wrap up my camera gear at 10 o'clock, 9:30, just after the first dance is done. And then I've got the small matter of thinking I've got to run a marathon in London tomorrow. Wouldn't have been fun. And it also is the same day as Manchester. So London and Manchester are just off the table for me, for obviously for those reasons. And it'd be unnecessary stress for the sake of it. I was going to say London's not going anywhere. I can do it another time in the future. I may never, ever get the chance to run it, but I know it wouldn't be a good idea to even enter it, because if I do get it, I'll obviously have to do it, and it wouldn't be a good idea. But no, I didn't enter it.
Yeah. That's completely understandable. I've entered it again for the 12th year in a row, ready to get a 12th. Sorry, not this time. 12 years I've entered the ballot. So 11 years so far, but 12 including this one, and 11 no's so far. But I am hoping that good for age time comes in so I can get down there next year. But I've got the numbers.
I've got the numbers here, yeah.
Yeah, a record number of people entered the ballot. Was it just over 840,000?
Yeah, so it is up from last year, 578,374. So over 200,000 people, 250,000 people, over 250,000 people more have entered this time. So
that's mad, isn't it?
If you get in,
all for 17,000 places, I think there is in the ballot.
Yeah. So is that literally 1 in 100, pretty much? It's about 1 in 90, isn't it?
Let's have a look.
840,000. Let's just say it's 1 million, and let's just say 10,000 people get in. That's Your chances are like, I'd say 1 in 100 ish.
1 in 49.4.
Oh, is it? Or is it less than that? Okay.
Yeah.
That's still not great, is it? It's still not a lot. So yeah. Have you entered it? I tell you what, we could try and find out who has entered it the longest without never getting in. Do you know, I heard, I was saying last week, I was listening to London Marathon and listening sort of / watching on my dog walk, and I was crying. One story I read was a guy who had entered it something like 25 years on the go, and sadly died and never got to run it. And I think it was his daughter, I think it was his daughter that ran in his name, because he never got to do it.
Yeah.
And so some people have obviously been. I don't know if the ballot has been there since day one. It might have been. I don't know.
So this is the thing. There are lots of people who enter the ballot who have no intentions of training or even running it. And they just enter it because, that'll be a laugh to enter that, won't it? And there's loads of people like that get places, and there's people who are desperate to run it that never get the chance, which is crazy.
Because the charity obligations are crazy at the moment as well. It's like 2,500, is it? It'll probably be more than that next year.
So some of them are at least 2,500. Some of them are way more than that.
Because didn't you say that it's like an extra mental barrier that you don't need on race week, sort of thing, knowing that you're still 500 quid short, and you want to go for a PB, and you're a bit injured, or you've got all these things, and then you've still got the worry of money as well.
Yeah. There's no way I would go and run it for charity now, trying to run a PB, because your training needs to be focused on your running. And when you know you've got to raise that $2,500, otherwise it comes out your own pocket, because you basically sign a waiver to say, if I don't raise the $2,500, I'm liable to pay you $2,500, no matter what.
The stress, So, but I mean, on the other hand, a lot of people do amazing fundraising. It's one of the best things ever to run the London Marathon for charity, but it doesn't come without its stresses, I can imagine, because I've never done it.
No.
I've only fundraised once or twice maybe, and it has stresses of its own. So the London Marathon is a complex. It's a money-making machine, though, isn't it?
It is, but London Marathon wouldn't be London Marathon without the charity runners. So
no.
Yeah, they do an amazing job. They raise some huge amounts for charity, and there's some of the costumes and things that people run in is incredible. But it's a weird old race, London, because you've got the elites, and then you've got all the charity runners, but you've got this weird section in the middle where people are really trying their best to run a good marathon. And they sort of get lost in the whole story of the London Marathon, because you watch it on the TV, you watch all the elites and how quick they're going, and then it cuts to all the charity runners at the back, and the people who are actually there to run a marathon and try and get a PB sort of get brushed under the carpet.
Did you see, I can't remember if this was London I read, or a different marathon, but someone with 400 meters to go slipped. I don't know why there was a water station with 400 meters to go, but someone slipped on a water bottle and broke their leg, and literally crawled on all fours to get across the line. And it must have been a fracture. I don't know if it was it wasn't a clean break anyway. But they fell on a bottle, and he's like, I'm doing it. I haven't come this far to not complete this.
That's what you do, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But I can't imagine the pain that guy was in. But no, I saw some footage about it, and it was remarkable. I think it was a London Marathon.
There's some amazing photos and footage from London over the years of people really struggling towards the end. I mean, there's that iconic photo and bit of footage of Matt Rees, the Welsh runner.
I had no idea that was him. That is iconic. Arguably the most iconic.
On the finish straight, he stopped and helped a fellow club runner down the finish straight, and it's incredible. It just shows what sportsmanship there is in running. That people can not throw away their race, but that goes to the back of their mind because there's someone struggling and they want to help them. It's incredible.
It's I wonder if I'll ever get to run London. I really want to experience it, but whether I will or not, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe one day in the future, but definitely not 2025 because I'm busy. But you, however, hopefully you'll be there.
Yeah. Well, I've got two chances. I've got the ballot chance, one in 49 chance there, and then yeah, obviously the Good for Age. So fingers crossed, I've done enough for Good for Age, and I'll be down there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was crazy that's how big the running boom has got and how popular running has got.
I think it's
840,000 people.
I feel slightly responsible for this because as a YouTuber, I guess I don't really like that word because I don't really make a living off it. And I always think a YouTuber should be someone that makes living off it. But as someone who makes YouTube videos, I feel slightly responsible that so many people can just think, I want a bit of that. And they don't realize that, I've been doing this for years now, or for 10 hours a week, or, for 100 kilometers or 60 mile a week that it takes to train for that day. That's what has to go into it. And I don't think people see that maybe, or, they watch the London Marathon, or they see the influencers that do it. And they think, well, if they can do it, I can do it, which is a healthy thing to think if you're willing to put the work in, if but sometimes influencer culture can, and to some degree, without going off the boil, that's why, and you're the same, that's why I like to be upfront and honest and transparent with what I do, what my running is all about, because I don't want it to look any other way than the way it does. So I would much rather open the doors and let everybody in, and I show you all the training that I do. So everybody knows I pretty much film not every run I do, but I take the camera out very often with me. So but what I'm trying to say is, I try and be as honest as I can.
Yeah. There's far too many, especially on Instagram, far too many reels or short videos of come and run the London Marathon with me. Hey, and like a 1 minute video of, hey, I'm running. Oh, look, I'm at the water station. Oh, I'm going through Tower Bridge now. And making it look, oh, that's really easy to do. Anyone can do that. But the reality
you don't see anything after 10 mile though, do you?
No, marathons
they don't film any of that.
Hard. Yeah, marathons are hard. And people need to know that when you are signing up for a marathon, you are signing up for a big, big thing. It's not just something you can just go and do without any training.
Yeah.
But I think something else that made the 840,000 people, like the extra 250,000 enter, I wouldn't be surprised if the hardest geezer influence has done a bit of that.
Yeah, could be.
Because people have been inspired by him to get out and do something.
Yeah. But you never know, for everyone that enters that ballot, they could be at the start of an amazing journey. But you just feel like saying, just do Parkrun first. And then do the London Marathon 2, 3, 4 years later. You feel like saying, start from the bottom. Don't start from... Everyone wants to start from the top now, don't they? And they're not willing to just work their way up.
Yeah. I will hold my hand up. My first ever race running was the London Marathon.
Really?
That was my first running race. But
it was a charity one though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I ran for charity, but I was very naive.
But I'm guessing you didn't just rock up and just run it.
Well, no, I actually went out and trained, but I got injured on the way into it because I wasn't a runner and I was pushing myself too much because I was very naive and didn't really know what to do. So I ended up running a really slow time, but that's what kickstarted my running obsession, if you can say that. I remember crossing the finish line and saying, that is the best feeling ever, but I'm never running again.
But I think that's healthy the way you've done it, though. Because I think so many people will look at Hardest Geezer or look at the videos we make and they'll think, well, I'll just turn up to a marathon with my camera and I'll make a video. And then I'm an influencer now. But it's not really the point, is it? We're not trying to influence people to be influencers. I hate that word anyway, with a passion. But I don't ever want anyone to think the reason I do this and the reason you do this is the same. I don't think we do it Well, we definitely don't. We don't do it for the kudos or for the likes or for the
no.
attention.
No.
It's cathartic. It's a process. It's basically therapy. We just happen to just pick up a few people along the way, which is really flattering. And I don't think it's healthy to pick up a camera, film yourself, if your intentions are anything but that.
Well, no,
borderline
100%.
dangerous.
It's trying to find self-worth through likes and views on the internet is the worst thing you could possibly do, because what if it doesn't go right? What if you get bad comments? What if you don't get those views? What if you don't get those likes? It's going to have the reverse effect, and that's going to make it even worse. I think the stuff you put out into the world, no matter where it is, no matter what platform, needs to be real and needs to be. You need to understand that it can have any type of reaction, and people could have a good reaction to it. People could have a bad reaction to it. People could just go meh. But you've got to be happy that that could happen, and not be fazed by it or offended by it, or have your whole personality like relying on that on the internet. It needs to just be an extension of who you are. And I think that's exactly what we do, is we just put out who we are and what we do. And if people like that, then that's an extra bonus.
Yeah.
But anyway, from that,
we could talk for a while about that, couldn't we?
Yes, we could. But from that, shall we move on to the main event? So on Sunday last week, there was a little event going on down in Wales, in a little town called Newport.
Some shenanigans.
I believe somebody put their Adios Pro 3s on and their lovely new Nike singlet and towed the start line.
That was me. Yes, I am thrilled to announce that not only was I happy to just to get on the start line and start the race, because that is a big achievement to just get to the start line. I've always said that. It's not about the race itself. It's about the training and the journey that you went on. Of course, the race is a great day and you'll always remember the race probably over the training block. But I was massively proud of the training block. Got to the start. Managed to get to the end, happy and healthy, job done. So had an awesome day. The Newport Marathon was the first time doing it for me. And I'm happy to announce that I went there in search of a PB and I got one, 11 and a half minutes. I got a 3 hours, 36 minutes and 28 seconds. It took me to get from the start to the finish. And I just felt I was just ecstatic, and I had dark moments. Don't get me wrong, like everybody does, but they were less dark moments than any marathon I've done before, and I think that was due to a few things, but mainly belief. I think that was one of the things. I don't know how or when it started happening, but in the last week of training for Newport, I just started to think 3:30 is on. That's what I started to think. And not only that, I started to believe that I'm a good runner and I can do a good job and I can make myself proud and do myself justice and execute a good race. And I did. I didn't get the 3:30. That was the time that would have been beautiful. But what I did get is brilliant, overwhelmingly good feeling, because by the time of listening to this, you might have already seen my video that I put out on Friday, but I didn't walk, which is massive for me. 26 mile is a long way to run at intensity without having to stop. So I didn't walk once, and I can't believe that. None of my kilometers were slower than a 4 hour pace, which is a marathon time that I did 18 months ago. In fact, only one of them was close to that. And I managed to finish strong. So apart from, not actually getting the time, I managed to achieve those 3 really big things, which are 3 things that were really important to me. So yeah, couldn't have a better feeling thinking back to it.
I think you did an incredible job. Seeing how you were running throughout just was amazing. The difference in your mental belief in yourself over the last couple of weeks has been amazing to see, because we've chatted about this so many times, but I've been saying that you are more than capable of running a 3:30 for a long time. And it's only in the last couple of weeks that you've actually started believing yourself.
Yeah,
and when you finally put up that video saying I'm going for the 3:30, I was mega happy that you'd finally put belief in yourself and knew what you were possibly capable of.
Yeah, well, I've kind of proved it, because I wanted a 3:42 and I ended up getting 3:36. And the original plan was don't get any slower than 3:42, which was the original plan. But I think, like you said, I was in a better shape than that. And if I'd have gone with that plan, I could have ended up, I could have come in and I could have been disappointed that something could have happened, and I could have gone out a bit more conservatively, and I still could have bonked. I mean, I will get to that in a bit, but I still could have hit the wall, and I could have ended up coming even slower. So yes, I am glad that I pushed myself. Like you've always said, targets are different to goals. Targets can be adjusted and moved, and if you shoot and don't miss, then it doesn't matter. And that was big for me. I had that target in my head all week, and somebody on my YouTube channel's comments said, which made me, really changed the way I thought about it. A guy called Dave Napier said, I think your problem is, this is going back a week before I decided the way I wanted to run it. I think your problem is you don't have a plan and you don't know what you want from this race. And you could end up feeling disappointed towards the end. So that made me think about a few things, and that made me think, he's right. Let's be ambitious. Let's put a really hard target. Let's nail it on and let's go for it. And let's just see what happens. And let's make it happen. And I tried my absolute best. Please believe me when I say I don't think I could have done any more that day. I really, really tried my absolute hardest, and it drained me physically and emotionally. And I'm actually really proud with the way I ran on the day. So I didn't get the target, but what I did get was another great.
You got an 11-minute PB, which is crazy good. And I can vouch for the fact that you pushed yourself to the limit, because you were on an adrenaline high when you finished the race for all of 15 minutes.
Right on
before
cue.
You had that crash.
I was thinking, I've got away with this. I finally cracked my post-marathon crash. No, I hadn't. But it just came and hit me in the face like a double-decker bus. And everyone went for food, and I was just sat in the corner like an adolescent child with my head in my hands. Couldn't lift my head for fear of feeling sick. And but apart from that, I was feeling great. That, like you said, the 15 minutes afterwards, I was buzzing. The adrenaline was running through me, but as soon as that wore off, I was in big trouble.
It was very funny to see, but not funny, but I do like it when you're in that
in pain, discomfort, being sick, in public.
No, it's just the fact that you were so happy that you weren't feeling sick, and you were so happy that you were feeling good after the marathon, and you were like talking yourself up for ages, and then all of a sudden it was like a switch just happened, and You were then, in bits. But yeah. So let's go to other people who ran the race first and just give some shout outs. So obviously Rich ran it. He started off with you from the start.
Yeah, Richard
and
Evans.
it was his first ever marathon. So he did a cracking job. He finished, which is the most important. And I think he ran a 3:37.
Yeah, 3:37:46. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, so massively impressive, Rich, because he's been really ill. Like he went to A&E 2 weeks ago because he had a virus, but he had one of those viruses that like really destroyed him. And we saw him, didn't we, when we did that park run? And he was his face, no joke, was the same color as your cupboards. Just have a look at the cupboards behind you. He was that. His face was that color, just ivory, grey almost. And I couldn't believe that he made it to the start line because he was in a bad way, but he got the marathon done, and he did a really good time. 3:37 as a first marathon is really good.
Yeah,
and
incredible.
Sam Bauer as well, who's fresh back from Paris.
Yeah, 3 weeks after Paris. Yeah,
fancied another go at the 26.2, and he did 3:53.
Excellent.
So amazing work with Sam. Sam's just one of those guys. Sam's that mate you've got who doesn't really, who's just cool as a cucumber like all the time, and just never really ever seems like they're out of control. And he's like, Sam could probably have a good couple of weeks of like no training, or no long runs, or for whatever reason can't fit them in or whatever, but then still can just execute a really good marathon.
Yeah,
and I think he ran Paris in a very similar time.
Yeah, it's mad because like he doesn't do that much training and then rocks up on a Saturday at Parkrun and runs sub 20.
I know.
He
does my head in. How do you do that? But he's obviously got a really good level of fitness. So yeah, fair play, Sam. You did a really good job. You did
amazing work,
proud,
Sam.
So yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Also,
and then we met up. Met up with Rachel Davies, who ran really well, and also Rory was with her as well.
Yeah. So they did a 3:15 and a 3:22, I think, didn't they?
Yeah. So they both had a real good race. I watched Rachel run to the line with the 3:15 pacer, who wasn't on 3:15 pace.
That's so interesting. I mean, I don't know if she must have started ahead of him. But here's another thing. I know you should never really have a moan, and I know you're going to tell me off for this. You know what I'm going to say. But I measured the course with my ruler. I got my tape measure out. I was going
to say, did you go out with a trundle wheel and measure the course? Did you?
But honestly, I've never had a marathon run that long. So I measured 42.8. And I know a lot of people have done the same. And the shortest I've seen is 42.45 or something like that. And I just don't understand, because didn't really feel like on the day there was that much weaving to do, because we're all on country lanes. But obviously it makes a difference. And we were in the countryside around all those trees. So it could have been exactly that.
But you've also got to remember that GPS isn't 100% accurate.
I know, and the courses,
And for that course to be official, to be allowed to use those times for qualification for other races and things like that, it has to be measured officially. So that has been measured. So
I know. It's not an excuse. I know.
There are lots of people that moan about races. Oh, they were this much too long, or oh, that wasn't quite the right length, it was short, or whatever like that.
I'll take my watch time. I'll take my Strava time.
There's loads of people who run a race and they finish the race and their official time is slower than their PB, but they say, "Oh, new PB," because their GPS clocked it shorter. And it's like, hang on a minute, no, that's not how it works. The measurement, it's like running around a 400-meter track, And on your GPS, you've run 410 meters and going, well, actually, I run that 400 meters quicker. No, you didn't, because the track is exactly that. And that's the same as any race. Sorry to rain on your parade, but you only ran 26.2 miles.
No, I've been back. I've had the tape measure out. I've been down Screwfix and I've got the...
But also, you will add mileage on by running round people and running through people, unless you stick to that exact line. That's why they paint a blue line in London for the London Marathon. So the elites can follow that blue line, so they know they are running the exact distance. Unless you follow that, just by running at the other side of the road, you'll run an extra few meters. So every time you're running on the one side of the road rather than on the inside, you're running those extra couple of meters.
Yeah.
And that clocks up over a long distance.
Yeah. So that, and I'll talk about this in a bit, but that slightly affected my pacing, slightly. But apart from that, I don't. Yeah, I'd already moved on then. So other people that ran the race, we know Matt Rees was down there, wasn't he?
Yeah, Matt Rees, the Welsh runner. Yeah, he decided 2 weeks after Manchester, whilst he was retching and running a marathon, he decided to go and have a better race down in Newport.
Yeah, and I think he did, didn't he? Or at a very similar time, wasn't it?
Yeah, he ran a 2:31 in Newport. So yeah, he ran a real good race.
Yeah, fair play, mate. That's really,
especially
really good.
so quickly after Manchester, 2 weeks later, to go and run a 2:31 again.
And it was fair play, by the way, to everyone that shouted me, supported me on the course. It really, really massively, massively helped me, including, I wish I knew who this was, but someone said Mumbai, bye, as I ran past them. And I nearly fell on the floor laughing. And I still don't know who it is. I still don't know who it was. And it absolutely killed me. And it was brilliant. So that was just one of the best moments of my life.
Yeah.
So that was just brilliant. Someone shouted, "It's on Andy," from a bush, who I presume has into the toilet in a bush. And I was like, who said that? Where did that come from? That literally came over my left side. And I was running against the flow of the runners on my right. So I think they were in the bush in the toilet.
Incredible. Incredible.
But yeah, thank you so much to everyone. It was humbling. It really was. It was really, really nice to see so many people.
Yeah. And with the time that you ran, obviously we had a bit of a prediction competition of who could predict closest to your time. And we had quite a few guesses across Instagram and YouTube. But I think from the list there was a lot of people believing in you, saying you were a lot of people said 3:28, 3:29. So a lot of people had the faith in you, which was good.
Valencia.
Yes. But I think the closest was a guess of 3:37. So they were only a few seconds off.
32.
Yeah. So only a few seconds off. Was on Instagram, their username is King Stanny. So if you are King Stanny on Instagram, get in touch, send us a DM, and I will get a Obi-Wan Run Club tee out to you. Yeah. So congratulations.
He obviously studies the form of the runners. So if you've got any tips for the 3:10 at Kempton tomorrow, let me know.
Right. So let's move on to your race, your experience. So we recorded the pod on Thursday afternoon last week because you needed to get away to go and see your mates Al and Packer. Over at the farm. So tell us about what you did on Thursday and Friday in the run up to.
Yeah, we went down to South Wales and checked into our Airbnb, which is only 3 miles away from Newport, but it was in the sticks. It was in a village, a leafy village, basically. And we incidentally ran past the house at mile 4.5, which was great for Laura because she could just literally come out the front door and say, "Yeah, hello, see ya." So that was good. But got down there Friday, and I thought, because we booked this place because we'd seen the alpacas on the photo, and I thought, because we've got a dog, the alpacas will be the other side of the field. You know, they'll be scared. But literally, we rocked up, and they all walked over, and they all had their heads over the fences, looking at the dog, and it was brilliant. It was like Daisy was loving the alpacas were loving Daisy, and they were just brilliant. There were 6 alpacas, and one of them was called Dave, no joke. One of them was called Dewey. They all had like Welsh names, and they were brilliant. And our Airbnb hosts were like two people that had lived in London. They were basically hipsters that had lived, you know, like the Shoreditch hipster life, but had enough of London and thought, let's get out. Let's go and run an alpaca farm in Newport. So they did exactly that, and they've converted their house and gardens into, like, you know, they've got shepherd's huts, and they've got big plans for more accommodation. So big shout out to those guys. Their business is called Stay Balanced. So big shout out to them. So we got there on Friday and basically just down tools and just chilled on Friday. Started watching a Netflix drama called Baby Reindeer. Have you seen that?
Oh, I haven't, but I've heard it's very good.
Wow. So I started watching the first. I thought it was a joke. I started watching the first scene. I thought, this is awful. This is terrible. But by the end, we binged the whole lot of it, finished it on Saturday night. And really, really good series about a stalker. And I won't say too much.
It's all a true story as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if you can't really call it true crime, but it's that sort of thing. It's all a true story.
Because the guy that's acting in it, it's his actual life story, isn't it?
His story, yeah. So yeah, bizarre setup, but that was great for distraction and taking our minds off it, which is nice. Friday night, got there, had some pasta, I think, because we got there for 3:00, had some afternoon chills, and then we had, you know, an early dinner about 5:00, 6:00. That's early for us. And then, nice early night. And then we got up Saturday morning, went to a local parkrun called Newport Parkrun, which is at Tredegar House, which is about, 15-minute drive. And did the parkrun, which was really nice. Did
you have any people come and say hello at the parkrun?
Yeah, a couple of people. Yeah, I ran with a guy called Gaz, who actually ran the race as well. And afterwards, we all sat afterwards and had a coffee with Sean as well, and Neil, and a few of their cronies, which was nice. And the parkrun itself is really good, really nice parkrun, but it was on the winter course, because this Saturday they changed into the summer course, which meant it was a 3-lapper, and it was a little bit slippy and greasy, but I took it super nice and easy. Apart from the last 200 meters, I couldn't help but just send it. I just wanted to just get some confidence, turn the legs over. And I was just typical taper story. I was like, I'm so sick and tired of running easy and slow. So I thought, right, I'm going to smash this last 200 meters. So I ran at Kipchoge pace to finish, which was nice. And then, had coffee afterwards. And then Saturday afternoon went into Newport. Newport's all right, by the way. So there are parts of it that weren't so good, let's just say that. But the actual, for example, we found somewhere called Newport Market. Tommy D, who's Speedy Tommy D, he said, go and check out somewhere called Newport Market. So didn't have a clue what it was. It's a massive food court and independent traders market. And in the middle of the market, it's all undercover as well. It's all covered like an indoor, it's almost like you feel like you're in like an old church or something. It's but there's all these traders around the outside. And in the middle is a food court, and there's an app, and it brings up all the traders that are selling food like donuts, pizzas, katsu curry, Chinese, anything you want. And then they just bring it over. So you can have, and so we had a pizza, which was really good. And then we got in the car and we headed back for more Baby Reindeer action. And then we had a jacket potato and beans for dinner.
I was going to say, did you have your planned pre-race evening meal?
Partly because I'd had about 6 days in a row of pasta for dinner, and I was just like, I didn't think I'd ever hear myself say this, but I was a bit sick of it because I love pasta. After pizza, that's my thing. And then we had jacket potato and beans, which was nice. And then just loads of chilling, loads of drinking water and stuff. And then got an early night. Was in bed by about 9:30ish. Couldn't sleep. I was going to text you, but I thought you'd give me a rollicking for saying, "What are you doing awake? Get to sleep." I thought I won't text Brett. And so then that brought me to Sunday morning. I got up. We had some saurine. So I had like a little bit of saurine.
Yeah, malt loaf is life.
Yeah, but I just had it straight out the packet. Laura said you can even put butter on it if you want or anything like that. But
you don't need butter on it.
So I just had it straight.
Don't ruin the malt loaf with butter. What are people doing?
So I'm glad I didn't because I quite enjoyed it. And then I had a bagel as well, and half was butter, half was peanut butter. No coffee, no tea, and then we got in the car at 6:45 in the morning, and we headed off to race day,
nice.
The village.
So, with your carb load, did you just use food for your carbs, or did you have any carb drinks or anything during the last couple of days?
Never had a carb drink in my life. I've never. I just don't know why. I've just never gone down that route. All beige carbs. It was brilliant actually when I think back. Just pasta, potatoes, bread, heaven. Basically, it was like my old diet before running. It's basically just my normal diet, just a little bit more of it. And if it was beige, I'll have it. That was basically that was the requisite. I was like, if it's beige, we'll have it, we'll eat it. And at Newport Market as well, and this is probably not best pre-race nutrition, but there was some amazing donuts. As soon as you walk into Newport Market, straight in front of you is a donut seller. And these things were like, when they're like £4 a donut, and you're like, are you serious, mate? Are you serious? When you eat one, you're like, yeah, that was worth £4, to be fair.
Yeah, that was £4 worth,
Yeah. So yeah.
Right, so you got to the event village. So Laura dropped you off on Sunday morning. What was first port of call? Because what time did you get there, and what time was the start of the race?
Well, because of the road closures and where we were staying, she only took me in halfway, which I was fine with. So that means I could have about a mile and a half walk in, and walk the wrong way for about, I don't know, it felt like about a quarter of a mile. I realised that I'm going the wrong way, turn around. So I got a few extra miles in that way. And then I got to the race village really early. Felt like I was one of the first people there. They hadn't even blown up the start line, the inflatable start line. And the volunteers were all having a briefing. So I got there at about 7, 7:15. And there was a really nice, they'd opened up the university. So most universities these days are really super modern and spacious. And it was great because I went in there, found a bench, and just got all my gels out, my fuel, and then started loading them into my, the disposable clip lock bag thing.
Yeah.
And started loading them in, and then so I could do that. I went half race ready. So I had my singlet and my shorts on underneath, but I had my joggers on and my hoodie and a big coat because it was a bit wet Sunday morning. And I just got my fuel ready. As soon as I did that, I was twiddling my thumbs again. Didn't really know what to do. And it was about 7:30 by now, 7:20. And then Sam and Lou had come up from the Midlands, but fortunately they got there nice and early. I sent them a what 3 words, and they came and found me. They came and sat with me and chilled for a bit. And then, it got to about 8:20, 8:30, having chatted to a couple of people as well. And just went and did backdrop then. And thought, right, it's time to get rid of everything, and then so I can just be my race kit. And that's exactly what I did.
So start time was 9 o'clock. So you dropped off your bag at about 8:20 and got down to the start.
Yes, because I had intentions of doing a warm up.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do one.
Intentions?
Yeah. No, I did. I wanted to do. I 100% wanted to do at least 5 or 10 minutes of easy running, maybe a couple of strides. But I was waiting for Rich because I'd realised, having just got to Wales on the Friday, I'd forgotten my soft flask. Now,
Oh, okay.
I really wanted to take that with me, just, half full, because that's what I've been training with, just for emergencies. And I realised I forgot it. So I text Rich and I was like, mate, have you got a soft flask? He said, yes. He said he'd give me in the morning. But he was involved in some horrendous car park space hunting or traffic. I don't know what was going on in Newport at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, but apparently it wasn't pretty. And then I imagine I met him at about 9:15, by which time we just decided to go and get in the pen, abandon doing a warm-up, and just try and have no stress and just try and get in the pen, get settled.
So instead of a warm-up, what did you do? Did you do any drills or any movement or anything?
So I always feel like a bit of a chump when I'm speaking to people and I'm sort of lunging or doing dynamic drills while they're halfway through a conversation. But yes, I was trying to do as many sort of dynamic drills as I could whilst chatting to people and waiting for people to turn up to give me bottles and stuff like that. But I was just trying to activate my hammies as much as I could by getting some lunges in there. Nothing too, because I was well aware that I had cold muscles and I hadn't run in, but I also had been on my feet quite early that morning. So I'd done quite a long walk. So I didn't feel too rusty. So I wasn't doing anything that I could feel like pain or really big resistance or anything like that. So I was just doing some static drills really. I wished I could have done a gentle, easy warm up, but I think I got away with it because looking later on in the race, I know you always avoid heart rate, and so do I to a degree, but I looked at my heart rate and it was low. So I was quite fortunate that it didn't spike, and I put that down to not going off too fast, which I very nearly did, which I'll explain in a minute.
Okay, so you are in the start pen and the countdown starts to happen. What's going through your head at that moment?
I don't understand this because they're speaking in Welsh. That's one of the things I was that's one of the first I was like, hey, what are they on about? And so they did the countdown, and then we all started moving forward. I was at the back of the first wave. So I was stood next to Rich, and we'd kind of we'd said to each other, you run your race, we'll run each other's, we won't run anybody else's race. Just do what you want to do. Yes, let's maybe start off together, but we will just do our own thing. There's no obligation for us to stay together today. So we started together, and then we also started deliberately. I started in front of the 3:30 pacer because I was thinking that's what I want today, because I know that if he passes me, I know that I've got work to do. If I don't see him again today, then I know that I've beaten 3:30. But I was going to let him go ahead of me anyway. But I knew that basically I'm 4 or 5 people ahead of him. I know that if I can see him at the end, I've done 3:30. That was my thinking.
Yeah.
So I started just ahead of him. And then, like you say, the 10, 9, 8, the countdown happened. Then we all started going. And there was about 3 minutes, 5 minutes by the time I got to the front. And I was nervous. I was very, very nervous. And it started to hit me. How on earth am I here? Am I in this moment that I've been thinking about, visualizing, dreaming about for ages? How is it here? Just make the most of it, but don't rush it. Just chill. I was just trying to say to myself, just relax, just be calm.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was doing.
Excellent. So you set off with your nice relaxed heart rate and did the first 100, 200 meters?
Not even that. And what happened was maybe 100 meters or so, 200. And you do you've got a nice long straight 100, 200 meters. Then you have a hard right turn, 90-degree turn. And I was on the outside of the bend. I didn't know anyone at the start line. Maybe Lou, who was supporting Sam, was there. So I was thinking, I might be able to wave to Lou. But I didn't know anyone there. So I had no reason to really be on the outside, but I just felt comfortable there. And as I was running, I sort of followed everyone round. And then someone said, "Go on, Rich. Go on, Andy. Let's go." And I recognized that voice. And I double taked. And it was you. I was like, "What are you doing here?" Literally at the start of my race. And I was like, "Oh my God, what is he doing here?" I'm going to have to, my first thought was, I'm going to have to do it now. Failure is not an option today. Not trying hard enough is not an option today. So yeah, seeing you, I was like, but straight away just gave me a lift. And I don't know if that's the effect you have on everyone you see. Maybe it is. I'm sure it is. But just your presence just gave me that lift, and it was brilliant. Nice. And then I knew I'd see you again, because within the first mile or two, we did a loop of the town centre. Yeah. And then we run out to the countryside, and I knew I'd very likely see you again. And I was like, did I just dream that? Was it actually Brett? It could have been. Was it Brett? I was starting to doubt whether it was him. But no, seeing you was just like, oh, you crafty sausage. But yeah.
I had planned to. I'd been thinking about coming down to come and give you some support for a couple of weeks, and had been thinking about it. And then Thursday, when we did the pod, I made the decision, and I went, "Yeah, I'm going down. I'm going to get up mega early, drive down to Newport, and go and surprise him and cheer him on around." And I started making plans of all the places I could go and watch you, working out where the loop was so I could see you a few times. I just didn't take into consideration the pace I would have to run to try and get to places to watch you go through.
Do you remember what I said? I saw you after about a mile, and then I saw you again. I was like, how are you doing this? I literally was so confused. It's like, why are you ahead of me? How did you do this? How?
At one point in the first 3 mile of your race, at one point, I looked down at my watch and I was running to try and chase you to get in front of you. And I was running at 5:15 a mile pace.
Wow.
Absolutely pegging it to try and get out in front of you. But no, it was worth it. So no, it was good. But anyway, so we you do your loop of the town centre, a mile goes, and you go out into the countryside out of Newport Centre. So what are you thinking? What's the pace looking like? How are you feeling when you're crossing that bridge?
My plan was to negative split the whole day, the whole race. And I wanted to do a 145 and a 144.30, something like that. Or maybe a 146 or a 145 high, and then maybe like a 143 high, something like that, which is something I thought I could do. And I worked out the pacing that I needed to do, and I held it. And so my splits, I knew I needed to hit with 25 minutes. And I'm so pleased with my pacing up to as far as 36K. Because my pacing was just, I was like, how am I doing this? I was like, I don't know why this is feeling so good. And I was feeling really chilled, really relaxed. I had the Adios Pro 3s on, and I had my Partridge short shorts on, and my black singlet. I was all in black. And do you know what I felt? The night before, I tried on my race kicks. I'd never tried on that combo altogether, including the shoes and the belt. I tried it on at the alpaca place, and my first thought was, I feel fast. That's how I felt. I felt capable, and I felt good. Because when you're in, like, what other walk of life, what other sort of part of your life would you ever wear shorts like that? Never. But like in a racing environment, the shorter your shorts get, the faster you look.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, wow, look how far I've come. That's what I was literally thinking. Like, wow, I feel good. I feel like a good version of myself. So when it came to race day, yeah, I just felt really relaxed and really chilled, and I felt really confident. And just let me talk you through my first 10K, because I couldn't really believe how well it was going. So my target for Ks, which is 8 minutes a mile, was 5 minutes a K. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 minutes, 5:02, 4:59, 5 minutes, 5:02, which gave me a first 5K split of 25:03, I think. And then the second 5K was 5:05, 5:02, 5:05, 4:58, 5:02, 4:59. Oh no, have I read one too many? So a little bit slower on that second 5K, but I was okay with that. I wasn't looking at heart rate. I was just running to feel and running to pace. And I said to myself, if this starts feeling too hard too early, we back off, because I know it's not like Stitch. It's not like something you can just run off and you'll be okay if you just power through. It doesn't work like that with marathons, does it? If you're feeling it's got too hard too soon, especially in the first half, it's not going to end well, is it? So
Yeah.
I knew I needed to make it to halfway feeling comfortable, feeling chatty. So then my next, if you don't mind me just going ahead, my third and fourth 5K splits, 11 through to 15 was 4:59, 4:59, 4:58, 5:01. And then the next 5K going up to the half marathon was 5 minutes, 4:58, 4:59, 5:02, and then 5:02, and then 5 minutes at 21. So I get to the half marathon basically bang on pace. But there was no halfway board. There was no official board saying you are exactly halfway.
I find that really odd that there wasn't a halfway marker.
Or even a timing mat or anything. So I can't even tell you what, what I was officially doing. But my Strava is telling me that I got to halfway at a little over 1:45:40, I think. So I'd stayed, the slower side of 5 minutes, 5:01s, which is what I wanted. And I was thinking anything below 1:46, we've done well. All we need to do now is a 1:44. And we can do it. So yeah, I get to halfway. I'm feeling good. One thing I didn't mention was as well, I'm making sure this marathon, I'm not ruining it by not taking gels. I'm not going to do an Amsterdam or a Manchester where I have 3 gels and just throw the rest away because I can't be asked to have them. So every 5K, no matter what, or half an hour, whichever comes first, hopefully the 5K comes first, I will do a whole tab of gels, which was for me was like the chew bars. And I was alternating non-caffeine and caffeine, non-caffeine, caffeine. That's what I was doing. So yeah, halfway, feeling good, feeling really relaxed.
Yeah, because you were on the 8-mile loop, weren't you? When you hit halfway, were you on the second way round the loop when you hit halfway?
Yeah. So the what there is at Newport, there's you run out of Newport for 5 miles, then you hit 2 8.5-mile loops, and then you've got 5 miles back, something like that. And you hit halfway, you hit 13.1 at about, I don't know, a few hundred meters into your second loop or just before it. I can't remember. So I knew, right, I've done a loop, and it's a big loop. 8 miles is quite a long loop. I was thinking, right, all I've got to do is that again. And then it's like the mothership calling me home. All I've got to do is get on that main road back into Newport. And then that's job done. Just got to keep holding this pace. And that's what I was thinking. Just hold the pace. And that's what I did.
Ace. So on that 8-mile loop, there was an out and back bit, wasn't there? So you could see people who were in front of you, or people behind you when you were coming back on the out and back. So did you see in the 3:30 pacer as they were coming back the other way? Did that motivate you or put any doubt into your mind or anything like that?
My first thought was, this pace has gone off a bit quick. I'm going to stick to my watch and stick to what I've trained to, because the last thing I wanted to do was follow him and then start panicking and then not be able to hold on. So I was thinking, it's a bold strategy. Let's try and catch him if the strategy would have worked, catch him at mile 25 and then hopefully try and do him on the last mile. That's what my strategy was. So no, I saw them running past me twice. First time, yeah, he'd got a quarter of a mile away from me. Second time, I remember seeing him at 16 miles, and then he turned out to be probably what turned out to be half a mile away from me by then, maybe third of a mile. And no, still wasn't panicking, still wasn't worrying. If anything, it felt like just like a moving target. Just felt like there he is. It's up to me just to go and get him. That was it. That was the game. So I got to that second half and I knew that I had to run faster. So I thought if I can try and hover around 4:57s, which would be 7:55s ish in miles, then I might be able to pull it back. So I did 22 now is 4:55, 5:03, 4:57 and 4:56. And then up to 30k, this was my fastest 5k split. I think it's about 24:40. I did 4:53, 4:59, 4:59, 4:54, 4:57, I think I did. And then
so you were going well there.
Yeah.
Going really well. Because I saw you the last time I saw you before I saw you at the finish was at 18 mile.
Yes.
So I'm not sure where that is in kilometers.
30. About 30.
That is 30k. So yeah, at 18 mile, you were looking really strong, looking really good. I asked you how you were feeling. You said, yeah, I feel pretty good. Asked you how your pace was, and you said, yeah, I am bang on pace. I think I've got about a second to make up.
Yeah.
And I left you there and ran back to the start to try to go and catch you coming into the finish. But so at 18 miles, you were about halfway around the loop, weren't you?
Yeah.
Before you started to go back into the town. So at that 30k point, you were shifting well.
Yeah.
Where do you think it started to not hurt, but start to slow slightly with the pace?
Then, because I remember running past you, and if you listen back to the footage, there's a musician in the background, so you can't really hear me say it. But I ran past you and said, "This is starting to hurt now."
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and that was the first time because the sun had started to shine a bit as well. And I remember just thinking, this isn't as easy as it was 30k ago. And the sun was coming out. It was cooking me with the tarmac as well. I was all in black. What a stupid idea that was. I don't think I'll ever race in black, by the way. Again, certainly not in the summer months, because it's just going to attract the sun, isn't it? It's going to make me even hotter.
Yeah.
But you look good. You feel fast. So
mate,
go figure. If you look good, you play good.
Great. Yeah.
But then after I saw you, which is approximately 18, 30k, 31, 4:59, 32, 4:59, 4:57, 5:03, 5:03. So get to 35 kilometers, which is the furthest I've ever run in training. Look at my watch, and I'm bang on 5 minutes a kilometer, which is a 3:30 finish. So I'm thinking, okay, if I can just try and drop this average pace down to 4:58, so that will require more effort, then we might see the wafting of the flag in the distance. But 36 kilometer comes, and I don't know what happened in this 5 minutes and 19 seconds, but I was daydreaming, I think, or I wasn't chatting. I was just daydreaming, or my mind had gone elsewhere, because I looked at my watch. And by now, by the time you're running 2.5 hours, you know the cadence, you know the feel.
Yeah.
You just sort of, you look at your watch and you think, oh God, how am I matching these splits? How come they're, up until now, my fastest K had been 4:54 and my slowest had been 5:03. So not even a 10-second swing. Somehow it had become robotic. And I got to 36 and looked at my watch and I'd done a 5:19.
Oh, wow.
And I just thought, oh, this could be game over now. And I looked at it and thought, why did I let that happen? I think I was just on autopilot. But when I started to analyze it, that last couple of minutes, I'd started to feel sluggish. I'd started to really feel it. And then 37, 509, 38, 517, 527, and then a 517 going to 40K. So I wasn't massively blowing up, but I could feel myself slowing. Like I'm running now 527, that's 30 seconds slower per K that I wanted to run. And then I saw Rich, who he said he'd blown up. And I said, come on, let's try and finish this together. Let's go. I asked him if he wanted to go with me because he was walking at the time. And that was about 23, which is about 38K. And we ran a bit together. And then he dropped off and he said, no, you go and do it. You go ahead. And then I got to 41 and I did a 5:39. I just felt like my legs weren't working anymore. I just felt like I had nothing. I wasn't cramping. They just felt so heavy. And I had this tightness in my chest as well. I mean, looking at my heart rate, I was at 175 now, and that's average. At the time, I was probably in the 180s, and I was really starting to struggle. And then what happened next really saved me, because at 42, at 41 and a half, I saw Laura on the bridge and Daisy, and it just made me just go really emotional. Don't know what it was. Made me want to cry just seeing them. Just their presence there just made me want to just bawl my eyes out, because I was really not panicking, but I was like, I've worked so hard for so long now. I've had enough now. And I saw the mile 25 board, saw them, got round the corner, and then it's one last finish straight, all one road, couple of roundabouts to navigate, but then you're there. And I got to 42 and I did a 5:27. But to be honest, it's all a blur really, because I recognised when I saw Rich, which was about 38K, 23 mile. I don't think I looked at my watch again. I remember thinking there's no point, but it wasn't my priority anymore. My priority was just keep going
and finishing strong.
And just I was trying to desperately match pace with someone in front of me. And I remember feeling really annoyed that he walked, because it totally broke my rhythm, because I was trying to copy someone's cadence. It only lasted a minute or two, but it felt like half an hour. But then he walked. I was like, oh, I'm on my own now. And then I saw Laura and Daisy. They gave me that was a massive pick me up. And then, the finish line comes in sight from about 500 meters away, 400 meters away, or something like that. Maybe not even that far, but it's a marathon, isn't it? It's probably only about 50 meters, but it felt like 500 meters.
Yeah.
But I just know in my head, I was like, right, just keep going. And and that's exactly what I did.
Yeah. And you did pick up the pace quite a bit for that last bit when you saw the finish line, didn't you?
Yeah, I tried. I tried, and my last kilometre was 5-minute pace, so I got back to where I should have been. But the effort required to get back to that pace from where I was mad, was mega. And I remember I've just released my video today, so you can probably hear this. But as I say, come on, let's finish, I scream or I shout because my hamstrings cramped up at the exact second that I went from 5:30 per K to 4:45 a K. So going from my steady pace to my half marathon pace at mile 26 hurt. And I just thought, do you know what was going through my head? There's so many people watching you. Don't fall over. that's what I was thinking. And I was also thinking, don't slow down, because if you do, you might not get going again, because my hamstrings were really rumbling at this time.
Yeah.
Cramping, but not mega cramp. I can't really, it's like a rumbling cramp. It's all I can.
Yeah. Yeah. On the verge of going, but not really. Yeah.
It hadn't sidelined me. I didn't need to stop and get it stretched out, but it was really, if I'd have stopped, it would have really cramped.
Yeah. It's crazy though, how that slight change in pace after that much of a distance of running can really affect the way your legs feel.
Yeah.
Just that slight change. It's not even a massive speed up, but just that slight change really does affect the way that you feel.
And it was amazing though. Just running through that finish line, and just wanted to just get over that line as quickly as I could. I didn't even know. I mean, I knew I hadn't seen the 3:30 paces, so I knew I hadn't quite done 3:30. I didn't know what pace I was on at the time. And I actually thought I was closer to 3:40 because it felt like I was really slowing down towards the end. So I was delighted when I crossed that line to see that I'd done 3:36. And I just felt so proud of myself. And do you know what came into fruition? From the second I hit the wall, I wouldn't say bonked or hit the wall, but I did, because I did slow down from 36K. My slowest K was 5:39. And what happened, I wanted to happen. I didn't walk. I slowed down to my steady pace. So all that steady training that I've deliberately done over easy training felt like the next notch down to cling on to. So I'd lost that rung of the ladder, so I hung on to that one. So, and that's what I did. I just clicked into that steady pace. Of course, it felt hard, but I wasn't doing 6 minutes or 6.5 minutes. I wasn't walking, and I couldn't believe it.
You didn't fall apart. You slowed, but you didn't fall apart.
I don't think I blew up. No, I didn't. I definitely didn't blow up, and that is maybe one of the biggest achievements from last Sunday, that I didn't blow up. I ran to capacity, and I think I ran quite smart. If I'm honest, I think I ran. I'm glad I didn't go any quicker the first half, and I did say I wanted to kick on second half, but I just couldn't. I couldn't break the rhythm, the cadence of that feeling of that 8-minute mile, and trying to go for a 7:50 mile, even though it's only 10 seconds. I just couldn't do it. I was going second or two quicker, but not 10 seconds. Because when I think about it, if I wanted to negative split and do the 3:30, I needed to do, from what I'd already done, which was 1:46, I needed to run a 1:42. Or maybe 1:41, because my GPS obviously shafted me. I took it for verbatim. I took it, when I was telling you at 20 mile I'm bang on pace, I wasn't. If I was bang on pace, I would have been up there with the 3:30 pacer. So next time I'm going to run 10. I know that's a lot of seconds, but maybe 10, give myself 10 seconds grace because of the GPS drift, and because of, so what is 5 minutes a K now needs to be 4:50. Like an insurance policy almost.
But
so
you deserve all of the congratulations and all of the flowers that you are getting from this race, mate. You've put the effort in training, and you executed a great race. You really did put the work in.
That's nice of you to say, man. Thanks. I'm proud of myself for getting it, for doing it, and I'm proud of myself for the 16 weeks. I could have done different things. We all know that. We all could have analysed and done different things. But I'm just really, Are you allowed to say you're proud of yourself without sounding like a big head?
Yes, of course you are. No, of course you are. Self pride is where you achieve all of those big things. So make sure, you always take pride in what you do.
But do you know what was funny? I finished the race, and I don't know what it is about running that does this to me. One of my first thoughts was, after I'd sort of sobered up and realised what had happened, I want to do that again, and I want to do it faster. And that's how I know I've got a problem. that's how I know I've got an addiction, because I do. I just want to push myself again. I'm not content. I'm not. Of course, I'm happy with that time, but I want to see what else I can do. And I'm excited.
But that's one of the things. Those endorphins and that feeling when you cross that finish line is so incredible. You're chasing that constantly, aren't you?
Yeah. So I think if I did Newport again, and any advice to anyone that's going to do it next year is, if you are going to run to pace, it's been said time and time again, but just run maybe 5 to 10 seconds faster per mile or kilometer than you think you should be. Because if you run to pace, you're probably going to be short. And 6 minutes is a hell of a long way. Because my watch says I finished the run in 5:04 per kilometer, but my actual finish time, which was 3:36, a 3:36 mid marathon is a 5:07 per kilometer. So I didn't run fast enough, obviously. So 7 seconds per kilometer faster. That's what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And so I need to be mindful of that in Valencia.
Yeah. Well, what a couple of people have said to me and advised me, and I am going to take this on, I think, for the next marathon I do. They've said, turn the auto lap off on your watch and lap every time you cross the mile marker.
Yeah. So all you're looking at is your average pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you're marking your laps when you hit that mile marker, you can actually see exactly what you've done for that mile,
accurate.
rather than rather than
and
what you think you're running.
And I imagine if you forget, it would still tick it over as an auto lap anyway, would it? Or do you? Because when you look back on your
necessarily,
Strava,
no.
Oh, okay.
On your Strava, it will say miles and everything, and it will probably, on the mile bit at the end, or the kilometer bit on the main bit on Strava, will tell you what it was when your watch clicked over on a mile. But then you've got the second bit just above it. That's if I don't know if you've got that. Do you pay for Strava? Yeah. So just above, like all the kilometer or mile things, just above, there's another one that's horizontal, isn't there? That shows you your elevation profile and shows you all your laps and everything.
Like that? The workout analysis?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With the elevation profile in it as well.
Yeah.
And that works off the laps on your watch rather than miles or kilometers.
So once you've done intervals or track or whatever, you there's like a heavy blue line or a thin blue line, a darker blue line for faster stuff or shorter stuff, isn't there?
So if you miss a mile marker and don't lap it, it wouldn't give you a lap for a mile in that workout analysis, but it would in the bit underneath for the miles.
See, in this country, this might be the first and last time I ever say this, that is why working to miles is favourable, because we don't get kilometre marks. Maybe if you're running a 10K or a 5K race, but if you're running half or a marathon, then you're in trouble, really, because you can't. How are you going to mark a kilometre manually? So I can see that's why miles is superior in this country. I admit that finally, but
you ran a great race. But there is one thing that you admitted to during your spell of feeling sick and in your post-marathon down, is you owned up to something, and I just tutted and shook my head for a couple of seconds. And that was, you started off really well on the block, and in your videos you showed quite a lot of you doing your kettlebells and yoga in front of the TV and all of your S&C. Unfortunately, that didn't feature in any of your later videos, and there's a reason for that, isn't there?
Yes, there is, sir. Sorry, sir. I haven't done my S&C, sir. Yeah, I got to week 8, halfway through the block, and the volume just became so much that I started just sacking off, the 2 S&Cs that I was doing, which you could argue is not enough anyway. So I just sacked them off, and then I said to myself every Monday, right, S&C this week. Right, I'll just get today's run out the way first, and then okay, well, I'll do tomorrow. And all of a sudden, it's taper, and I thought, oh, Brett's going to find out. He's gonna know. He's gonna get mad at me. He's gonna get mad at me. I thought, well, it's taper now, so I don't want to risk doing the S&C now. Which again is such a stupid attitude, and I'm aware of it, and I know, and that is why this marathon has given me the drive to do it, because I think with good S&C, at the pace I was running for 35k or 30k, it felt not far off like an easy jog. If I'm being honest, it didn't feel that hard. And with S&C, I could have done that marathon so much, it would have hurt me so much less.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm aware of that. I know that, because I'm not exactly Peter Andre, mysterious girl. Do you know what I mean? I'm not exactly that kind of physique. So it's not like I can just get away with not doing it.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. This is what I've learned the hard way. I have learned this from not doing it myself. So I am guilty of it too. But I've learned that you've got to do the S&C if you want to run strong and you want to get to the end of the marathon still running strong and running the same pace. You have to put the work in with that S&C. And if you took out half an hour of running a week and swap that for half an hour of S&C, yes, your volume of running isn't going to be as high by half an hour. So, I mean, that's not even that much. It's like 6-7k, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, taking that out and swapping it for S&C will do wonders for your marathon conditioning. And that's the thing I've learned the hard way, but I will never change now. I will always make time for S&C.
Yeah. Well, for me, this is a process that I'm sort of got to this point where I'm like, I'm finally doing easy runs. I'm finally doing, interval stuff, or I'm doing progressions. So I've got to a point where I know what's good for me and I know what works. I just do it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to S&C, I think I know better, or I think it doesn't matter. But I want that to become second nature, like the progression stuff has.
Yeah.
And like the stuff that I used to hate, or like the stuff that I didn't used to know about. So that's what I need it to be. I needed that marathon to maybe bite me a little bit, because if it had gone really well and I'd have turned around to you and said, I've done that without any S&C, and I start to look really cocky then. And then next marathon I do, when I go for a 3:20 or something, something like that, then I'll get myself really injured. So I am aware. I've just got to be less lazy. Got to be less lazy.
Well, I almost did it last night. I finished our run with the club and went into the gym, and they had something on at the gym. So they said, we're closing the gym at 8:00. So I got in there, and I think I had 35 minutes before the gym was closing. So when I jumped on the cross trainer, did my half an hour on the cross trainer, and then left the gym and ran home. And I was like, I could just do my stretching now and call it a night. And then I went, no, do not do that. So I got my mat out and my dumbbells at home and did my S&C at home. But it was so tempting to not bother and just sit down on the sofa and not do anything for the rest of the night. But no, I forced myself, and I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, that's good. So you're still doing your S&C, even though you're not technically training for like a marathon. You're still religiously doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very noble, I think. So
because I know that's what got me injured. So I don't want to get injured again. If I want to run to the best of my ability, I know that I need that S&C. Otherwise, I'm going to be weak in places. And there is nothing like running to find your weaknesses.
Yeah.
If you've got something
it will
weak,
find them.
It will find them.
Yeah.
So,
well, but I was going to say, I'm conscious of time, and we've still got a Brett's End of the podcast quiz to do. I was going to say, shall we have a little read of a few comments that we've had?
Yes. Let's just do that quickly. Should we leave possibly some of it till next week? Some of the questions, the emails and stuff.
On that cliffhanger, let's leave some of the emails we've had. I've had loads of emails. Well, 2. And so we'll read them out. We'll read them out next week. One of them is a really good topic, which is from Mark Stockwell. He's talking about courses being flat and boring. Does that impact on your, does that impact on your overall experience? So, and another one we had from Mark Hurd as well, who's talked about some of the how he's bounced back and stuff from an injury he had.
Yeah. So we'll put those into next week's. Yeah.
Yep. We shall.
Cool.
Do you have any other business before we do the Brett's End of the Podcast quiz?
Not that I can think of. No, I think we've gone through everything I wrote down. Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, me too. Oh, really quickly, I wanted to say the 4 things that I think really helped me were fueling every 5K, apart from 35 to 40. When was it? 35 to 40, I had half a gel because I just couldn't have a whole one because my mouth, I didn't have any saliva, so I couldn't chew it. So that's when having the water from Rich really helps. Sorry, I've got such a runny nose because of the hay fever. So that's when having that bottle of water, that soft flask, helped. But the fueling was massively a big thing. Hydration the week before, I drank so much water, and I think on a hot day in Newport that did help me. The carb load, whether it did or not, I had a good time. I had some great food last week. I ate more bread than a pigeon last week. And finally, my pacing. I think that the pacing, not going out too hot, and my marathon pace. Yeah, my marathon pace is 30 seconds slower than my half marathon pace, which is quite a lot really in kilometers. In miles, that might be even more or less. I can't remember which one. So so it's 7:25, I think, for my half marathon pace. 7:20, isn't it? What we ran in Worcester.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then last week was
about 7:17s, I think you ran.
And then 8:0, and then I averaged about 8:05s from last week. So
what's that?
Nearly a minute, 45.
Yeah, but think about it. I'm going for my half on Sunday at 6-minute miles, and I ran 6:42s.
Oh, okay.
Manchester.
That doesn't make me feel bad then. Okay. Yeah, cool. Right, so here's the medal, by the way, for any of you watching that wanted to see it. And loads of people complaining, saying it looks like the machine had malfunctioned at the bottom and it hadn't really cut out the metal properly at the bottom. It's all right. It's got a generic running person running forward. I'd give the medal about a 6 out of 10. It's all right. It's kind of cool. But it is time for the moment that you've all been waiting for. It's time for Brett's End of the Podcast quiz. So you got 5 questions and there is a connection.
Right.
Okay. Question 1. Henry VIII had a pair of what made for him in 1526, the first of their kind? Henry VIII had a pair of what made for him in 1526, the first of their kind?
A pair of... if it's a pair, it's either got to be glasses, trousers, or shoes.
One of them is correct. I shall leave you to the next.
I'm going to go for a type of shoes.
Okay, that is correct. That is correct, but not exactly. You got to be more specific. Okay, question 2. French magician Louis Comte was the first magician to perform which magic trick in 1814?
1814. I'm going to go rabbit out of a hat.
Is correct.
Yes.
Yes, correct. Question 3. How good is your chemistry knowledge?
Oh, not great.
Okay. Fe is the symbol of which element on the periodic table?
Fe is that iron?
Correct.
Yes.
Very good. I will never get bored of the way you say yes. You know, when everyone used to announce the house points in assembly at school. When your house was top of the league. Yes.
10 points for Gryffindor. Yes.
Yes. Question 4. Arizona, Victory, and Bismarck are all types of what? I could say the word "the" in front of all three of them. The Arizona, the Victory, and the Bismarck are all types of what?
I don't know. Desert?
We'll come back to that. It is a thing. It is a machine, actually. It's something to do with the military.
Oh, okay.
Arizona, Victory, and Bismarck.
Well, I'm gonna go plane then. Aeroplane.
No.
No.
Question
Dunno.
5. What did the Russians send into space before humans?
A monkey.
No. That was the trick question I hope you'd fall into, but you did. So yes. It's not a monkey.
Was it a living thing?
Yep.
Was. A dog.
Correct. She was called Laika. It's quite sad, actually, as a dog lover. Sent her into space, and apparently she died of over exposure to heat. So, question 3. No, have you got question 1? Have you got an answer for question 1? What was Henry VIII made? What got made for him?
I said a type of shoes, but it wasn't quite right.
Well, yeah, okay, so that is true. What about if I told you it was to do with a sport?
Oh, wow. What
And
sports
shoes.
would he have done? What sport would he have done?
I'm now doubting the authenticity of this question. Like always.
Well, I mean, what sports were invented there? Then that would need specific shoes. It's not going to be football boots or anything like that.
That is correct.
It can't be football boots.
That is correct. I'm going to say, when was football invented? That is correct. Football was invented 1888. That was the official one. Early history. Oh, the ancient Chinese used to play it. Yeah, I think it was around 600 AD. In Japan, they were playing it. So yeah, it was around. Yeah. So the answer is football boots.
Okay, I'm still dubious on that.
Google Henry VIII football boots and they'll come up.
Yeah.
And the last one, because if you Google it, it's definitely true. And the last one, the Arizona Victory and the Bismarck.
Yeah. So if it's not planes, tanks.
No, the next one. So it's not the Air Force. It's not the Army.
Oh, but ships.
Yes, the HMS Victory.
Battleships. Oh, yes.
USS, I think the USS Arizona was the one that got sank in Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
And the Victory was Nelson's ship. And the Bismarck, I think, was a German ship, I think, got sank in the war.
I've heard of them now. Now I've got the answer. Yeah, I know of them, yeah.
So, can you make a connection from your things? Shall I give you a clue? The football bit is not the important bit, and the rabbit is not the important bit. So what are your 5 things?
Boots, hat, iron, ship, dog.
Yes. In particular, battleship.
Oh, battleship.
And if you think about the boots as
Oh,
singular,
it is the Monopoly pieces.
he's got it. You've got it.
Amazing.
Do you know what the original one missing from that set is? There's 2 original ones from the original set.
It's a dog, a ship, an iron.
I'm talking like from the 30s or something.
I'm trying to think of all the pieces from Monopoly.
One would be something that you'd
play as.
Put on your finger.
Was an original one a ring?
No,
a thimble. Oh yeah, thimble. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yes.
And the other one is old school military, like Henry VIII days.
Oh, a cannon.
A cannon, yes.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a sports car one as well, I think. But I didn't see that. That might have been a modern version, but there you go. So yeah, you've got the connection. Yeah, well done.
Amazing. And once again, we have recorded a marathon episode.
I'm so sorry. So sorry.
So people are going to be listening to this on their short long runs on the weekend and whilst they're sat around doing nothing or whilst they're working.
Oh God.
So yeah, if you are still listening now, thank you so much. You are a true, real one.
Hopefully everyone who listens has to commute from Edinburgh to London or something to listen to them. That's our only hope.
Yeah, amazing. So thank you so much for listening. I bet you'll all join me in congratulating Andy on an amazing run in Newport.
Thank you.
And we shall see you next week. So thanks, guys. See you later.
See you soon, guys. See you for the debrief of the Birmingham half.